Before we continue with the analysis, I want to talk to you guys about jerseyfifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that's the latest home shirts, the latest away shirts, tracksuits, or even retro kits, Jersey FIFA has a bit of everything. There really is something for everyone, so if you are interested, then make sure to use the link in the description down below and head to jerseyfifa.com. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we are back talking about Manchester United. As we so often are, this seems to be the content you guys enjoy. If you are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. This is the fourth video in February, I believe, by the time that this is uploaded. We are going for 28 videos in 28 days with the aim of hitting 12,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you guys could help with that, that would be greatly appreciated. But today we are talking about Manchester United because they have a bit of a midfield problem. Now, yes, they have signed Sabitzer, who you can check my video out, I think is a good signing. However, there are still issues. Eriksen is out for the next 3 months or so. McTominay is out for at least a few more weeks according to Ten Hag. And of course, Donny van de Beek is out till the end of the season. So Manchester United do still have a slight lack of depth in midfield, particularly in that Casemiro position. And with all of this in mind, I wonder if Kobbie Mainoo has a chance. Now, in terms of pronunciation, I'm not exactly sure. I believe it's Kobbie Mainoo. If you guys could let me know in the comments down below, that would be useful. I am absolutely awful when it comes to player pronunciations. So if you could help me out, I'm going to say Kobbie Mainoo, I believe is his name. I don't mean to offend if I got it wrong. I'm just ignorant, basically. I think that's how you say his name. But today we're going to talk about how he could possibly fit into this Manchester United team and help the first team for the rest of the season. So the first thing we need to establish, of course, is what is his position. Well, we have already seen him playing some first team minutes as an attacking midfielder. He came on as a substitute to see out the end of the game, and he done alright, didn't offer too much. It was kind of a game which was already won, so there wasn't really too much to do. He can also play as a box-to-box midfielder alongside a holding midfielder, and he does have some of the traits to do that. We will come on to that later. But for me, this guy is a holding midfielder. Now the problem with that is Casemiro is of course also a holding midfielder at Manchester United, which means that Mainoo's minutes are going to be limited simply because Casemiro is so good. But I don't think Mainoo should be looking to compete with Casemiro at the moment, absolutely not. He should be looking to learn off him. So that's what I want to talk about, some things he could learn off Casemiro, but also some things he's good at already. What are his strengths? And for me, it is playing in this area. And I think, actually, before we go any further, I think it is important that he decides this quite quick. Like I said, he can play those 3 different positions in midfield. I think for a young player, it's important to establish what they are as a player. Some players, versatility is a very good trait. But some players are so versatile that they spend their careers getting shifted into different positions to fill certain holes, and they never really excel at one trait. They become a jack of all trades, a master of none. I don't want that to happen with Kobbie Mainoo, so I think it's important that quite early in his career, he decides what he is, and like I said, for me, he's a holding midfielder. A player that looks to drop deep, just in front of the defence, and basically, a lot of the time, get the ball off the centre-backs, show some press resistance, which he does have in abundance, and also show some technical quality with his passing as well. And we've seen that already in the game against Reading, where he came on for the last 15-20 minutes or so. So let's quickly take a look at a couple of examples from that Reading game, and we can see here what he's doing. He is coming deep, moving towards the ball, rather than moving away, so he could make a forward run and try and drag some opposition forwards or midfielders with him. But no, instead he wants to make this movement towards the ball, always giving the centre-back an easy pass. That is why, for me, he is a number 6. That is typically what a holding midfielder will do. They will be that passing option for the centre-back, giving the centre-back the easy pass. I think it shows also a decent amount of trust from Erik Ten Hag. Yes, Manchester United, as we can see, were 3-1 up at the time and against 10 men. But I still think it shows trust in him to put him in at such a young age into this position. This is the hub of the team. This is where possession is built. So showing that faith, even in a game which was already won, is a credit to him as a player. And a credit to his development in recent years. And he always has been a player which has developed quite well. I've got it written down here. At the age of 15, he broke into the under-18s. At the age of 16, he broke into the under-23s. And by the age of 17, he's now a regular in the under-23 squad at Manchester United. That shows that rapid growth, and also it kind of shows the level of him, the promise in him as a youngster, because he's always been a few years ahead of those around him. That's a really good sign for a young player. And we don't see many youngsters at Manchester United come in at this age into a game like this, so it's good to see him picking up the ball in these areas and having the confidence to do so. We've got an example of a similar thing slightly higher up the pitch here. We can see Manchester United are building with a back 3. Kobbie Mainoo has just dropped the shoulder to move the defender, then gone towards the ball to once again offer Victor Lindelof the easy pass. Now, this isn't anything particularly special he's doing, but if we talk about McTominay in this role sometimes, he can almost hide himself behind opposition forwards. Kobbie Mainoo isn't a player that wants to do that. He always wants to show himself available for the ball, and that shows a real confidence as a young man in a big team like Manchester United. to go deep and demand the ball off an experienced player like Victor Lindelof is a really good sign of him, and kind of gives us perhaps an insight into the psychological side of him a little bit. That confidence to go get the ball off his teammates in these areas. Like I said, technically it's nothing complex that he's doing, but he is a player which for me wants to drop into this area, turn, and then kind of play the ball forward from there. He wants to pick the ball up off the centre-backs. So having picked the ball up off the centre-backs, the question now is what does he offer from there? And for me, it's a lot of technical ability, starting off with his press resistance. Now, of course, I was talking about the way that he has moved through the age groups in the past, and how he's always been tactically, mentally ahead of those around him. It's also the case physically as well, and this helps him in his press resistance. It means that he's happy to draw a player in, kind of receive that pressure on purpose. An example, almost, or a comparison, if you think about Brighton, I done a video on De Zerbi ball recently, talking about how the midfielders like to draw you in because they have that ability to play around you. Kobbie Mainoo does something very similar, knowing that he has the strength initially to hold a player off and shrug them off and get past them, but also the technical ability, the ability to shift the ball between both feet, which is very important, that ability in tight spaces to get out of pressure and then play forward from there. From there, in terms of what he offers moving further forward, so far in the first team he has been pretty safe on the ball. We haven't seen him exactly hitting Hollywood passes or defence splitting passes, or even particularly passes through the lines. He has been quite safe so far. Now, you can look at that in two ways. There is a positive there because it means you're keeping the ball for your side, you're keeping play ticking over, you're building possession, you're taking control. And ultimately, if you've got the ball, I doubt you're going to concede. The other side is that it isn't quite progressive enough, not quite creative enough. However, in terms of breaking this down tactically and assessing him as a player, we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. He is a very, very, very young player, playing in front of however many fans at Old Trafford when he comes into a game like this. I think we cut him some slack and just say he needs to build his confidence in the first team, which, in my opinion, is completely fair enough, because for the youth team, we have seen him playing more adventurous. But let's just take a quick look at kind of what I'm talking about, what he's been doing in the first team. So again, we can refer back to that game against Reading last weekend in the FA Cup, where you can see he's picking the ball up in this same area once again, and there are forward options around him. He can go to the left wing to someone like Malacia, let me highlight him down here. He could play that pass, or there are players over on the right hand side where he could be a bit more progressive. But instead he chooses the slightly safer pass into the feet of the forward. Now, again, this is completely okay. Yes, he could be more progressive, and as he develops, we would like to see that a bit more. But for now, I think it's perfectly fine to expect these safe passes. And also, the good thing about these safe passes is that when you are safe in possession like this, when you are playing short passes, it drags your teammates towards you. If you always have teammates towards you and around you, it means that if you lose possession, you're quickly ready to counter-press. And let's just quickly kind of demonstrate this here. If the ball was to be lost either by the forward or by Kobbie here, we can see that by playing short passing football, the Manchester United players are nice and connected. I've highlighted the wrong player there. But you get the idea. United are nice and connected in this area, so even if United win the ball, they can quickly counter-press and get around the ball. So that is the good thing about having that short passing range and that ability to keep the ball short and play quick football. Of course, to really make it in the long term at Manchester United, Mainoo is going to have to show a little bit more than that, and thankfully he does. Because in the youth team, he is much more expressive with his passing, and those that watch him on a regular basis throughout the youth teams will know that. He is very capable of dropping into this right space here, pinging long passes to the left wing. He's also very capable of dropping to the left hand side in this space and pinging passes to the right wing. He's also quite good with passes over the top as well, especially on the counter-attack. Playing in the youth team, there's a lot of fast players in that attacking line. He's happy to get the ball in these areas, ping long passes over the top for runners on the wing. So that is something which we haven't seen in the first team yet. However, I think it's something that we can expect as he grows in confidence and just grows in ability as well, grows in stature in the squad. On top of this, he also has a good ability to drive forward with the ball. Now again, that comes to that physical stature, which has drawn Paul Pogba comparisons, and I can see why. Physically, he is very similar, combined with those quick feet in tight spaces. This is something which United don't really have at the moment. United lack a player which can get the ball and carry it through the midfield. Now, the importance of this is for the opposition. If they go man for man in midfield and you can dribble past them, you then break a man-to-man system, which is normally quite hard to do. So, in terms of long term, that could be something which United find quite handy, and Kobbie Mainoo is pretty decent at it already. This is also something he likes to do on the counter-attack as well. He can pick the ball up, drive into open space, and then it's about decision-making. And for me, this is where I think he separates himself from a lot of young players in the world, and kind of especially in the Manchester United youth system. Again, we're talking about being 15 years old in the under-18s, 16 and 17 years old in the under-23s, and now an established player in the under-23s at a much younger age. It is a tactical and mental understanding of the game, which other players at that age don't necessarily have. His pass decisions are normally very, very good. His weight of pass, his selections, just all round tactically, I think he looks quite impressive. And Of course, importantly, playing as a holding midfielder, he looks quite good off the ball as well. We saw glimpses of it against Reading, where he was defending in this wide area, putting a tackle in. Again, that's something which will develop with time. He's still so young, probably 10 years away from his peak, so it's crazy to even talk about it. But I really like the look of him as a young player. Now, in terms of doing a more in-depth breakdown, it's quite difficult to do because we've only really seen him in the youth team at the moment, and the youth system in England is a bit hard to judge at times. Players grow and develop at such different rates that just because an 18-year-old is facing another 18-year-old, they could be completely different stages in their career. Some players are real late bloomers, some blossom early and really break into the first team at a young age. So it is quite difficult to judge too much at the moment how good Kobbie Mainoo is really going to be. The best way to do it is going to be seeing him in the first team. Now, of course, that is slightly unlikely. The fact that he didn't get on against Nottingham Forest in a comfortable win is a little bit disappointing. It would have been a nice chance to see him. However, I'm sure there will be opportunities before the end of the season. In games where United are perhaps looking comfortable, we could see Casemiro coming out for a break and Kobbie Mainoo coming in. I would like to see it. But in terms of trying to sum him up for you guys who haven't watched him, like I said, I can't break it down too much because we haven't seen him enough. But tactically, very smart. Like, technically, very good as well on the ball, ahead of his years. Maturity, he seems ahead of his years as well. Confidence, he seems like a pretty confident player. In terms of profile, from a technical point of view, quite press resistant, happy to receive the ball off the centre-backs and turn. Good with his short passing, at the moment quite safe in the senior team, although in the youth team a bit more expressive. Hitting long passes, which he's very capable of. Got a great passing range, again, Paul Pogba-esque. Also, Paul Pogba-esque is his ability to use his muscle and his quick feet to carry the ball forward. And of course, that ability on the counter-attack, the ability to drive the ball forward, ping passes in behind the defence. All round, he looks like a really quite complete young midfielder actually, which is really exciting to see. If you guys have any more knowledge on him than me, let me know in the comments down below what you think about him. Those that don't know too much about him, what are you excited to see moving forward? Let me know all of that in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.